So hello there, welcome to issue 16 of Warhammer Stormbringer. In this issue we're going to be building and painting 6 Primal Lair. It's all to do with terrain this week. Okay, so whatever you do, the first thing you're always going to see is the sprues. So this is the sprues, and it says that there's 6. So I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the sprues. So we'll get on with building that in a bit. Let's have a little look at the magazine. So front cover, nice artwork. Monsters section 4, we've got spiders, zombie dragons. They're lovely. Basically just more about the realm. So we've got a chart here. Roll of die 6. One is the strange oozes and gases that burst from the earth here increase the strength and aggression of all nearby warriors. Nice. Right, so then we've got the how to build. So the instructions there. How to paint, we're going to need 5 different colours. We're going to need brown, red, blue, Rathbone and Corax white. Yeah, that looks quite simple, doesn't it? White. Oh, go over the whole lot in blue. Then we're doing some crystals in white. Then the tentacle section in white. Then we're going to be doing some bits in brown. And then some in Rathbone. That will obviously be the bony bits. More Rathbone for our more bony bits, skulls and skeletons. And then we've got some red bits. Look simple. So that's what it's going to look like when we're finished. Now it doesn't look spectacular because obviously it's not been detailed. But by the time we're finished it will look lovely. So we've got a section here on terrain. We've got some war scrolls here. And then we've got an example, a scenario for you to play in. And next week we have 2 colours. So we've got Abaddon Black, which is black, a very good black actually. And then we've got Agrax Earthshade. That one I'm looking forward to because shades do amazing things to models. Anyway, time to build. So it turns out that there are 6, not 5. No, there is meant to be 6. Yeah, sorry. So this is the last one. I cut this off. There's nothing to do on it. It's just some kind of bubbling pool. This one is quite intricate. I've not glued any of the pieces on because I want to see how well they go. Obviously, once they're painted, I mean, you can see there's no way I'm going to be able to paint under there when this is all glued on. So that's quite a nice one. This one is a little bit loose, but I still think it's going to be better to not glue it on until it's painted. But one thing I do like about it, I don't know if you can see there. See, it's got like it's got a set way to go. That's why it's not going in very well. I found that the seam lines on these are terrible. So much work to do on them. But the parts do fit very nicely. So that there's only one piece that will go in. In fact, actually, now I've cut that off, that's fine. This one, it has a little peg on it, just there, and so that goes in that way, and that's in quite nice. And this one also has a peg, so it can only go one way. And actually, once you've got the peg in properly, apart from this one, it's quite sturdy. So this is another one which I quite like, because I quite like skulls, you see. So I'm going to enjoy this one. Most of these are 2 or 3 pieces. This one has got some kind of Julie, what do you call it, shards, crystals coming out of it. And the first piece goes in. You see you've got a couple of holes there. And then this one goes into the last one. So that's rather nice. The one I had trouble with is this tentacle one. I don't know if it's some kind of puzzle, but I can get 3 in, but I can't get the 4th one in. I've got a feeling what I'm going to end up doing, these all interlink with each other quite nicely. So I keep going off camera. So they're all shaped at the bottom. So what I'm might end up doing is cutting the tabs off and just glue them in. So kind of work out like those two go together quite nicely. So I could just drop a tiny bit of glue in there and that'll stick those two together. And then this one goes in that way. And then it's this 4th one that has trouble going in. Whichever way round you do it, the 4th one is the troublesome one. In fact, do you know what? I've just done it. So there we go. So there's the 4 tentacles coming out. So rather nice. And I even like this plain one. Right, guys. So time to paint. So we're going to do some zenithal highlighting. I'm only going to show you on the one because they're all the same. But what I've had to do is I've disassembled the whole model so that I can get into all of it. And then I will reassemble it for the grey and the white. So as always, turn it on, that would help, wouldn't it? All we're going to do is just go over the whole thing, make sure we get into every nook and cranny, and just get good coverage on the whole lot. If you do accidentally put too much primer on, it's not a problem because it is really forgiving. So if just as long as you get some coverage on all of it, let's say come in for different angles and make sure it's well covered, because there's all these little bits and bobs. You do need to sort of rearrange the angle, but on the whole this is actually pretty good. Okay, so the whole lot has been sprayed, and what I'm going to be doing now is reassembling the pieces. Some of these go together really nicely, and this one, for example, once it's assembled, it's actually really hard to get that middle rock out. But yeah, the only one I didn't assemble when I painted was this tentacle one. I nearly said something else there. Now, the problem I had there is that getting those, they've got to be put in the correct order, I think. And I managed to find that order, and I didn't want to lose it. So I've just gone with that one. This one is a tricky one because it doesn't want to stay. It doesn't want to stay in, and I don't want to glue it in. So sometimes, if you give it a slight knock, it falls out. They're really easy to assemble, but this big one in particular, that's a difficult one. Actually, that seems to have gone in okay. This one's fine, so that can go in nicely. And this one is fine when you remember how to put the order in. It's getting it round the right way. It's quite a nice one actually, but the easiest way I remember, you have a spine there, then you put this second piece in, and that goes in there, like so. This then joins up with it, it creates, there we go, something like that. That goes there, and then this is then a headpiece. So this goes the other side, and it goes one way or another. This way, there we go. So that's that one. Right, so what we need to do now is get some grey down, and as before, I'm only going to do one of them, and then the rest will just appear as done. Okie dokie. So probably put too much primer in there, because you don't need so much for the grey. So, sorry, my compressor is on the move. Okay, so remembering to keep it at 45 degrees and go. No, it doesn't want to go. Do I have a blockage? It's almost as if the paint's too thick. Okay, so this is where we're going to do the white. Now, some of these are really going to come to life. Things like this one, we see where you've got this detail here is hiding this piece, so that's going to be really nice. I think this one's going to come out really nice. Now, ones like this one, that's not going to be quite so effective because most of it is pretty flat on the top. Nothing's hiding anything. But what I'll do is I'll do these three on camera, and then we can see the result. And then I'll show you all six once they're finished. So, bit of white. Nice. And we're going to keep that level. And we're just going to go across the top and... yeah, that's nice. You can go as close or as far as you want, just so long as you keep that angle. Oh, do you know what? I'm getting... my airbrush is getting blocked. And then I'm just unblocking it. I think this primer is just... I think the needle's quite a small one. It's a new brush, but... there we go. We're getting there. There we go. Right. So, oh, also, did I, yeah, there we go. This one's coming out better than I expected. I didn't expect it to be affected by the detail on the top of the skull. There we go, guys. So some really interesting pieces there. Let's look at the one that's going to be least affected. So we have here this base now, because it's all straight 90-degree detail. There isn't an awful lot, but you see we've got a little bit of darker there, not much. This little couple of little skeletons have just shown up quite nice. Let's do a bit of a zoom on that, shall we? So some skeletons have shown up quite nice there, but there is certainly some light and dark. This one came out surprisingly well, because obviously you've got these dark bits down the bottom, despite this keep coming off. So yeah, that's what it looks like from above. And you see there's some skeletons there, has just appeared, a couple of bits of bones and things. Really nice, really nice. So this is actually becoming one of my favourites. Yeah, the detail on that is nice. I say once you get, so if you look at it from as far below as you can, it's pretty dark. But look at it from above, see how it's picked up certain bits of detail. This one's a nice one. This comes out surprisingly well, showing that detail off on the top. Rather happy with that one. Look at the way it's caught these two big teeth, but it's not caught those middle ones. So it just gives you an idea. This is pretty much like, another way of putting this is training wheels for shade. You can now see when you paint things, you can see which bits you want to do lighter and which bits you want to do darker. Having said that, I tend to do my light sources coming from an angle 45 degree forward, but when I do my zenithal I tend to do it like this. This is actually very nice, apart from this great big seam line which will be sorted out once it's glued, but you can see all the detail there. I'll be honest guys, when I was building this, did you notice that detail? You know, or did it, you know, did you have to wait until I've done the zenithal? So if I remove this, you can see how we've used this as a bit of a cover. I think you'll find it, maybe it'll work better with, let's put that back on. There are notches, but it's finding the notches. I think it's round about there. There we go. So yeah, when you do the black, obviously you want to cover the whole lot, but when you do the grey and the white, it is important to have them assembled so that you catch the dark bits properly. So there we go guys, that is that issue finished. Now next week, I believe, I cannot find the magazine for some reason guys. Nope, I found it, sorry guys. I've just got it slightly disorganised. So next week is going to be Abaddon Black. Let's just get rid of that zoom. So it's 2 paints next week, which will be one video, 1 magazine, 1 video. So I'm just going to pop that into my collection. Now the Agrax Earthshade, what I shall be doing is, the last couple of issues we've been doing the zenithal highlighting, and it really has helped me build a better video, because I say getting down and painting all of these has been really tricky and time consuming. So what I'm going to do is we'll go over these with some Agrax Earthshade. What Agrax Earthshade does is it really does help shade those deeper recesses and help those details pop. So we'll see if it makes any difference. If it does help and makes the details pop a bit better, we'll do them all with a Zenithal and an Agrax Earthshade. If it doesn't do any good, we'll just carry on with the Zenithal. Right guys, so I will catch you in the next issue. Take care, bye bye.